One of the ways that you can tell a creator has really made it in their industry is when they start working with companies to advertise product, and JoJo is no different from this than any other major brand, as the series creator, Hirohiko Araki, has worked with not only other manga publishing companies with his Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe series, but also museums and major fashion brands like Gucci, and where his past sponsored material has shown hints of being slightly canon to actually being canon, his second collab with Gucci, called Jolyne Fly High with Gucci, is a purely non-canon story which advertises a product, but it does so in an interesting way, and the story itself is built off the product that it is sponsoring. And speaking of sponsored content, this video is sponsored by the Liberi ad Ludere Fantasy Tenebris Partes Ludanx Ludam in Corso Umbra Fabolis, which roughly translates from the Latin burned into the center of my brain, the free-to-play dark fantasy role-playing game, Raid Shadow Legends, which has finally broken free from the chains of mobile devices, and you can now experience the action on your own PC. Raid is a game all about making tough decisions, and it's best seen in how you're expected to handle your champions. First, you open up your shards and see who you got. Wow, this is pretty nice. Let's get this out on a tray. Nice. Then, once you've decided on a favorite, you can begin to focus and level that one up, so that they can go on more and more epic quests. And if you pull someone you just can't stand, you can sacrifice them so your favorites can get even stronger. Then you can challenge yourself by going on one of many raids, such as smashing your way through the Ice Golem's Peak, showing that almighty Fire King who's boss, or even pull up in your dark-colored Chevrolet Impala at the red light of the Welshire Boulevard that meets at the South Fairfax Avenue in Los Angeles so you can shoot down the notorious DRAGON. And with patch 1.15 coming this May, you can start earning points according to your tier, and then cash them in to win awesome prizes at your local and global tournaments. And if you're interested in Raid and want to help support my channel, you can download the game below via the link in the description. And if you're just starting out, you can get up to 100,000 silver, 2 clan keys, 10 mystery shards, and 1 free awesome champion, It Carnifex, which roughly translates to the Executioner. He's an extremely powerful champion who will help ease you through that early game real quick. And you'll find your extra rewards here in your inbox for the next 30 days only. Thank you again to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Now, Jolyne Fly High with Gucci, as I mentioned, is Araki's second collaboration with the Gucci fashion brand, but instead of deciding to craft a story that could work into canon slightly like he did with Rohan Meets Gucci, he decided to pull characters from different parts all together and smash them into one fun little spin-off story to show off Gucci's new fashion line, this being the Gucci 2013 Cruise Catalog. Though the story itself is quite a strange one. We start off meeting our protagonist, Jolyne Cujo, the main character of Part 6, but Araki makes it instantly noticeable that he's changed her character slightly to help you realize that this isn't the same girl from Part 6, technically. Starting first with the fact that she's wearing the second outfit shown off in the Gucci 2013 Cruise Catalog, but she quickly shifts to the 39th outfit shown off at the turn of a page. Along with this, we also learn that Jolyne is 17 instead of 18, which sets her a year before the hit-and-run incident that would end up placing her in the Green Dolphin prison. But on top of all of that, this version of Jolyne had her mother pass away recently, and because of that, she is moving to Japan with relatives who have offered to take care of her there. Her father also seems to be missing, so nothing's really different there. Though with Jolyne's mother dying, she did leave her entire fashion line, which are customly tailored Gucci outfits specifically for Jolyne's size. So she has quite a few outfits, and we see this as she changes into yet another one, the 28th outfit shown off in the catalog, but she stays in this one for quite a bit. And Jolyne takes these expensive clothes as a message from her mother that she'll be watching over her from beyond. Though, while walking through the airport, she spots a strange creature, and before she has time to process exactly what it is, she is accosted by 2 very handsome and very familiar faces, this being both Bruno and Abacchio from Part 5. Though they look a little bit more fresh, and it's not just because they're rocking 2 outfits from the Gucci 2013 Men's Cruise Catalog. You see, it's because Bruno and Abacchio are both extremely clean-shaven, and shaving is a very important part of our own personal identity now, so it's something that you don't want to half-ass. If you want to look as good as these people and feel as good as these people, well, I recommend checking out Dollar Shave Club, the leading brand in razor production that help lead to amazingly clean shaves. Dollar Shave Club is a company that prides itself on its quality and quick delivery service, with you even being able to set up monthly delivery sets so you can get different sets of razors when you run out, or even different sets of bathroom supplies. And the Dollar Shave Club razors can come with a unique grip that makes shaving the most comfortable and enjoyable that it's ever been. And each Dollar Shave Club offer can come packed with some of Dr. Carver's wonderful shave butter to help keep your skin silky smooth and nice when you shave. Do yourself a favor and get to shaving. What? Though why are Bruno and Abacchio even here, you might ask? Well, you see, the weird creature Jolyne saw is actually the possession of another Part 5 character and someone who I'm surprised to see walking and wearing Gucci product, Pulpo, who, as I mentioned, is wearing another piece from the Gucci Men's 2013 Cruise catalog. Bruno and Abacchio in this universe are part of a government organization, and they're tasked with helping Pulpo transfer the strange creature from place to place. And when it got lost in the airport, it wandered into a dead-end part of that airport where Jolyne was staying. So they assume that she must have seen it, and they demand to search her luggage, and if she's harboring it, she may be in big trouble. Though Jolyne attempts to ignore the three, Bruno explains the gravity of the situation. The creature itself is very important and very rare, so the government wants their hands on it, and if Jolyne is hiding it, it would result in her being charged with a major crime, likely treason, though Jolyne stands her ground and refuses to let them search her luggage. Bruno then suggests that they check the security cameras then, finding out what really happened when Jolyne was all by herself, which sends her into a bit of a panic. Bruno then produces an iPad and begins to replay the events that happened before they arrived. This shows her seeing and approaching the creature, though she of course has some time to stop and strike a pose for the fashion magazine. And it's here we finally learn what that creature is. It's a unicorn, and it's injured. Jolyne, feeling bad for it, approaches the creature and embraces it, and soon after, it appears to have vanished. But what actually appears to have happened to the unicorn is that it became part of Jolyne's outfit, becoming a beautiful scarf, one that doesn't even actually appear on the security camera, which implies that it doesn't appear to the naked eye. You could say now that the unicorn was hidden from all forms of attack, and any unwelcome visitors. It is now as safe as it could be, very similar to the safety that you could feel if you started using ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is a virtual private network service which helps protect you while you're browsing online. With ExpressVPN, you can keep your passwords safe and secure with military-grade encryption software. And on top of all that, you can browse websites that aren't even in your region, specific region-locked sites like Netflix Japan, so you don't have to book a flight to Japan every time that you want to go watch the next season of the Tarrasque House. Start now with ExpressVPN and you can get 3 free months of VPN service. What's happening? And now, together with her unicorn friend, Jolyne begins to pose and show off Gucci brand clothing in beautiful detail, which is only noticeable to those around her. Nothing seems to appear to happen to a normal person, and we can see this from the security footage that Bruno is showing, where it shows Jolyne normally laying in a specific pose, and then what the characters are seeing with her laying with the unicorn. And this gives me the idea that the unicorn itself exists on the same plane of reality as Stan, so only Stan users can see exactly what's happening, which would be the most likely case if by the end of the story Jolyne didn't confirm that the whole incident was actually a dream she created from stress that she felt from having to leave her old home, mixed with the death of her mother. Though, in connecting metaphorically with this unicorn in her dreams, and seeing that her clothes really were a memento from her mother, she gains courage to stand on her own feet again and be filled with energy and fly high. She is literally flying high with Gucci. But if you need an energy pick-me-up and you want to get out there, grab a nice ice-cold Red Bull energy drink. It's the only drink that will give you wings. Get Red Bull today. What's happening? This story is probably Araki's most floaty when it comes to its heavy reliance on metaphors. The unicorn, for instance, is an obvious metaphor for Jolyne and her character throughout this entire story, as the reason Jolyne helps it is she saw parts of herself in it, especially the fear it was feeling, since she herself didn't want to go off and live in fear all alone like she was about to, given the fact that she was being forced to move to a different country right after the death of her mother, which she still likely wasn't over emotionally. And this is reinforced by the fact that the unicorns are symbolically the representation of innocence, and a big part of Jolyne's character in this story is her innocence. Along with this, with the unicorn's leg being wounded, it represents Jolyne's suffering from the loss of her mother, but having to move on without giving her wounds time to heal. Though once the two come together, the healing process can begin. Though what seems like Jolyne just showing off her clothes is more so her accepting her mother's gifts, and this symbol of motherly love, which we can see both benefit Jolyne and the unicorn, given that the unicorn turns from this chibi gremlin looking monster to a regular healthy looking horse. A literal physical representation of growth. Now, Jolyne Fly High with Gucci is a story that has a good message to it, one about learning to let go of sadness after losing a loved one, but keeping them alive in your memories. But the message's delivery falls really short, given that the thing that Jolyne uses to remember her mother are such absurdly expensive clothing that a single piece of it would cost more than I have made from this video. On top of that, the blatant marketing sprinkled throughout the entire story can significantly affect the emotional pacing of that said story, as every time the story seems to be ramping up for a good, impactful moment, it's interrupted by an ad. What, were you expecting something here? Along with this, certain panels of the manga exist to exclusively show off pinups of Jolyne in different outfits, and of course, her shifting between outfits constantly throughout the story without any real reason to is also a little irritating. Though, it's not nearly as bad as that one moment in Rohan Meets Gucci, and that's a canon story, so I guess that's a positive. But the story and themes and setting are done actually in service to Gucci's 2013 cruise catalog, because the airport setting was chosen because that cruise catalog was specifically designed to have a multi-purpose set of outfits. These outfits were for situations like waiting to board a flight, or waiting to board a ship, or last-minute business meetings, which are aspects that you can apply to every character that appears in this story. They wanted to capture the spring feeling as well, and this is sort of Jolyne's spring emotionally, as she is finally able to open up and warm herself after the long winter of losing a loved one. So, I'd say that the catalog may have brought down the manga slightly, but once you realize that the manga only exists because of the catalog, they kind of balance each other out. And on top of all that, a nice little detail about this is that the two parts chosen for this story, I believe, are probably the most fashion-inspired parts in JoJo, as not only are characters from Part 5 getting names directly from fashion models like Trish Una, but Part 6 characters also get their character names specifically from fashion brands most of the time. So it's a nice little blend of these two very fashion-inspired parts. And at the end of the day, it's just a fun crossover between Araki and a real-life brand of clothes, which did result in his artwork being used as actual advertisement materials, which is likely considered a really high honor for him given how much he uses fashion in his work. Jolyne Fly High with Gucci will always be an extremely odd, but infinitely fascinating part of JoJo history. Now, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like it in the future, I have a Patreon at patreon.com/MediNotTheBadGuy. And don't worry, for patrons who have seen this video all the way through, you were not charged for this video. And if you want to find inner peace with your own Gucci products, well, you can do so by buying a copy of Shimonetta at buyshimonetta.com.